How's it going, everyone? This is Miles with Windows Central Gaming, and welcome to the 41st episode of Xbox Chaturdays. Today, I am stoked to be joined by the iconic brand manager of Untold Tales and host of Escapists The Joy of Gaming, Nate Najda. Or, as you might know him on the Twitterverse, Shinobi602. How are you doing on this fine Saturday, my man?
I'm doing great, Miles, and I think am I frozen? I'm just looking at my screen,
Looks like it. Yeah, looks
and
like
I
it.
am frozen. I am frozen. Let me see if I can fix this.
Oh yeah, no worries at all.
I knew this would happen. 1 second.
Stoked to have you on while he's working out some camera technical difficulties. Appreciate everyone tuning in. There he is. He's back. He's ready to
There we go.
rock. All right, look at
Sorry
that
about
beautiful mug. Hey, no problem. So anyway, how are you doing on this fine Saturday?
I'm doing great, man. It's real nice to be invited on the show, and I'm excited to talk Xbox and some games.
Absolutely. We have a lot to talk about today. We have Crystal Dynamics assisting the initiative on Perfect Dark. We have Master Chief for Smash. We have Halo Infinite and the recent flights, and so much more. But before we dive into all of that, we need to take a little time to get to know Shinobi or Nate. So for the people who don't know, or maybe the people who only know the Newman avatar, uh,
Yeah,
who are you? Where can people find you? And why do you love gaming?
yeah. So I'm Nate. I also go by Shinobi602 on Twitter and all the internets out there. I'm also the brand manager over at Untold Tales. A little bit about that. We're a pretty newish publisher of indie games. Much of the leadership is ex Techland folks. We do a lot. We focus a lot on single player narrative driven indie games because we love them. I also contribute at the Escapist. I've written opinion pieces on there, and I have a show on their YouTube channel called The Joy of Gaming, where really I just pick a game or something I've played or whatever the case may be, and talk about why I love it. Celebrate games and the people who make them to find the joy in gaming. Because there's more than enough hot take channels out there. So focusing on why games are great is more my style. And what was the last one? Oh, why I love games. Phew, how do you answer that? It's like why wouldn't you love games? So I mean, I like a lot of people. I just grew up playing games. Pretty much owned every major console, handheld, since starting from the NES all the way to now, basically. Uh, and I know this is an Xbox show, but I've never really had like a preferred platform. I love them all, honestly. I guess for me, it's really just why I love them. Really, is just the escape that they provide. From the world and from life. The detail that studios can put into their worlds nowadays is just ridiculous. And life's already hard as it is, So I've got 3 kids and a mortgage, and all that kind of stuff. So, um, I'm a huge narrative guy, so I love stories in my game. So I mostly gravitate towards that now, and being able to. It's really just being able to control a character and get lost in a fictional world. To me, is just priceless. So I cherish that.
Yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. I'm on the exact same page, even
Yeah.
dating back to, Super Nintendo games, which, in hindsight, they're not, that immersive graphically and they're not that mind-blowing visually,
Mhm.
but there is something undeniably magical about what video games offer that no
Yeah.
other medium offers.
Right.
Um,
I always say it because most other mediums, entertainment mediums, they're passive forms of entertainment. You go to watch a movie, you sit there and you watch the movie. If you want to read a book, they can give you interesting stories. You're reading it, but it's really you're just reading it. Um, but games is just it's it's experiencing that story, experiencing those characters, but also you affecting that world. So it's vastly different to me. To me, it's like the ultimate entertainment medium. So that's why I've loved games since I was a kid, so I don't think I'll ever change. Even when I'm like 80 years old, I'll probably playing games. Probably, if I live that long.
Love to hear it. If you guys haven't checked out the Joy of Gaming, like
Yeah,
Nate described, it is a great show, and it's a show about highlighting what makes video games so special, and it breaks down specific games, like the piece on Prey. Fantastic piece. Highly recommend that.
yeah,
Um,
thank you. I know it's been a little dry there because I've been so busy with work and life and stuff. So I think last episode was probably a little while ago, but planning to get back to it though soon, hopefully.
Awesome. Love that. Quick shout out to the 111 people joining us already. If you are
Yeah.
new to the show, we are live every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are digging the show, hit that like button and share it out. Now, before we get into today's first main topic, there's a little game that I normally reserve for returning guests, but you seem like a good sport, so I want to play a game with you, Nate. So what we're
Oh,
going to do, first and foremost, hit the beautiful people out there with your 3 favorite video games or video game franchises.
mm, God, there's so many good ones. Obviously, top of my head, number one, easily would be Mass Effect. Um, there you go,
You got the hat?
representing.
Yeah,
Um,
represent.
yeah, love me some Mass Effect. I would honestly, I'd say the first game is my favorite game of all time. The rest, I would say, um, probably. I know this again. This is Xbox show. Probably The Last of Us would probably be right after that, and then right after that would probably be the first Bioshock. Uh, those are to me like those are like unmissable experiences. So I'm scared. I'm scared.
That is
Which
a solid list. That is a list of fantastic, incredible, genre-defining video games.
hmm
So now what we're going to do is I want you to pick one of those games or franchises that doesn't exist anymore. It's wiped off the face of the earth. And then I want you to pick a second one that still exists. Everyone else in the world can play it except you.
Oh my gosh, that's cruel.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like I said,
That is
it's
cruel.
fun but a little mean-spirited.
Oh god. So pick one that have to erase off the face of the
It's
earth.
gone. Doesn't exist anymore.
Well, out of those three, I mean, it'd probably be Bioshock. I mean, I love Bioshock. I think the story, I think the design of that game is incredible. Even holds up today. But it's the man. Oh, you are bad. Yeah, I'd have to pick that. But and then what was the other one? Something I can't. Everyone can experience, but me.
It still exists, but you can't play it.
Oh God, The Last of Us. Oh God, The Last of Us probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a huge Mass Effect nerd. Like I would my life would be remiss if I had never experienced that game. So so man, this yeah that was cruel. That was cruel.
Oh, I appreciate you being a good sport. It is, it's
Yeah.
tough.
What about you? I want to hear yours though.
Okay, so I'll do mine. I've done mine on the show before,
You've done
but
yours before. I haven't heard it.
so I have Dark Souls, I
Uh-huh.
have Pokemon, and I
Okay.
have Resident Evil as my
Okay.
as
So you're more like just a whole franchise.
these are just whole franchises for me. It's hard
Okay.
for me to pick one specifically. And
Yeah.
so the one that I eliminate off the face of the earth of those 3, sadly, Resident Evil. One of my favorite franchises, some of the most important horror games of all time, but that's got to
Absolutely.
go.
Okay.
The one that still exists that I don't get to play is
Uh-huh.
Pokemon because Pokemon is one of the few like things of pure joy that exist in this world. And even if I
Absolutely.
don't get to play it, I don't want to take that away from the
Yeah.
world. And
Yeah. It
then
is. It helped. I mean, it helped form the Nintendo of today. Absolutely. Like, so that stings, doesn't
it's
it?
yeah, it's tough. And then Dark Souls is I
Yeah.
could never give up Dark
Yeah.
Souls. Like that is
Yeah.
one series and one kind of franchise of games that I come back to every
Wow.
single year.
So,
Every
so
year.
you would say the Souls series of games that those are your absolute favorite. Like you cannot go without playing this.
I couldn't. No, I could not. Dark Souls 3, in my opinion, and I've
Wow.
said this publicly, is the greatest RPG. ever
Dark
made.
Souls 3,
Dark
really?
Souls 3 is the
Wow.
pinnacle of action RPGs. There's never been a better action RPG in my eyes.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's a one. I mean, I won't. I can't harp on that. You know, like they're amazing games. It's funny. My history with them is like my very first time I played Demon Souls on the PS3 back in 2009 when it came out, and I had just gotten a PS3. I was a big 360 guy. I was there for the 360 like at launch, waiting outside Best Buy. So years later, I finally got the PS3 and picked up Demon Souls. I did not like it. I was like, "What is this crap? Like, why are people loving this? What is so attractive about this?" I mean, number one, like this is me back then. Right? I'm 20 years old. Like, I'm still like a young guy. So I wasn't as tolerable back then. So I was like, "What is this crap?" Like, the graphics look like ass. uh, I was like, it's janky. It's I don't know. Like, it doesn't explain to you like what is going on. Why am I here? Who like so. I probably played it for a couple hours, and I just like I tossed it. I was like, all right, this. I guess this is not for me. I guess, but
I had a
I think
similar experience with Demon Souls. Me and a
yeah,
friend picked it up on PS3 because we're like, oh, dang, a co op RPG. That sounds dope. Then we get
yeah,
like several hours in and we're like, how the hell does co op even work? What is
yeah,
this game? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then after that, I dabbled in Dark Souls, 1 and 2, and I was like, all right, I guess this series is just not for me. Like, I guess but that all changed when I tried Bloodborne in 2015. For some reason, I had a PS4 and like that just clicked with me because I think looking back at it, I think it was because it had that feature, that dynamic where even if you lost health, you could just run back in and just slash away and knock enemies out, and you can recover that health back. So I think that was very helpful for me personally because I'm not the best at these games. So like I would just go back in, just whack away and get health back. So I progressed. I actually beat that game. But yeah, Dark Souls 3. Yeah, I that's another one. I played for like 2 hours. I couldn't get past that first gate. There was like I beat the first boss, and then there was like a section where there's like a stairway or like a castle or something, and there was just one guy. I just couldn't get past him. I forgot where it was or what he looked like, but I just could not get past it. So I tossed that one too. But good for you. It's a great
yeah,
series.
it's I appreciate. I know there's the debate like amongst the Souls community between Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, which
Yeah,
one is considered the best.
yeah,
I respect Bloodborne for making the series click with so many more people. Um, but Dark Souls 3, it has some brutal skill checks. Like the first boss in that
yeah.
game, like before you can even gain XP or level up, is such a brutal skill check for new
Yeah,
players.
well, I barely got past him, so I was like, "All right, this game's probably gonna kick my ass. This is no Bloodborne." So, um,
Oh,
yeah. Cool. I mean, I'm probably going off script here, but did you play Sekiro? Did you like that too, or is
oh,
that
I
yeah?
did.
Okay.
Sekiro, I would say it's tough. From Sekiro might be From Software's most impressive game,
Mhm.
but it's not my favorite. When I first started, I had to throw away all of my Souls muscle memory. Like when I
Yeah.
first played Sekiro, I was like, "Oh, I suck, dude.
Is
This
it
is so much harder than Dark Souls."
is it just I mean, because I never played it. Is it just because it's so much more action oriented, like it's a lot of parrying, or because that's what I've noticed at least.
Yes, it's a lot of like breaking defense, a lot of parrying, a lot of this blend of like being hyper defensive and hyper offensive.
Mhm.
And Dark Souls, as the meme goes, you got to roll. You got to roll to dodge everything. There's no
Yeah,
roll in Sekiro, so like my
yeah,
muscle memory wants me to roll, but you're punished if you try to like dodge out of the way in this.
yeah.
So I played it for a few hours when it first came out, and I was like, man, this is brutal. I'm getting beat so bad. Put it
Uh-huh.
down for a year when the Series X
Wow.
came out,
Yeah.
and when it was 60 FPS. I don't know. It just for whatever reason it clicked, and then I went all in. And Sekiro, oh, is it absolutely phenomenal, and also has the hardest final boss of any video game I have ever played in my life. It's one
Wow.
of those moments where when I beat the boss, I was dripping sweat. I was already
Wow.
like 10 attempts deep, like ready. It was one of those moments where I was just on the edge of just being very upset, and I was like, "This is it. If I don't play this, I'm done with this game. This game sucks."
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
like beat it, and you're like, "Oh my god." Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Well, that's me never playing Sekiro then. Ain't no way I'm gonna get that far. If
Yeah.
you're saying that.
Yeah, if you thought Dark Souls 3 was tough, I think Sekiro is
Yeah.
it's got some Mega Man elements to it that
Yeah.
are really impressive. So if you know the proper counter to like a boss or an enemy, there are ways to make that fight way easier, which I really appreciate about Sekiro.
Yeah.
Dark Souls doesn't have that.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the counter is in Sekiro, though, oh man, oh
Yeah.
it's
You're having a bad time.
uh huh.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah,
good.
I could rant about Dark Souls and From
Yeah,
Software for 2 hours. We could have a show dedicated to From Software, and I would do it with
absolutely.
a smile on my face. I see some people in the chat aren't on the same page, so
Yeah.
we are going to transition into Halo Infinite and the recent flights and kind of where we're standing with Halo Infinite. Because I don't know if you saw, but Halo Infinite is trending on Twitter right now in a huge way, like
Yeah.
130,000 tweets about Halo Infinite. I
Wow.
have seen so many videos, so many gameplay captures of people playing the flight. We have the flight playing here, loving it. Myself and many other people are saying that this is the best feeling Halo ever. And I
Yeah.
will say that with 100% sincerity. I've been playing Master Chief Collection, I've been playing Halo 5, I've been playing all of the Halos for the last month.
Yeah.
And going into this flight again, because I played the first flight and I was stoked on it. It felt really good. And that's what
Yeah.
inspired me to reinstall Master Chief Collection and reinstall Halo 5.
Yeah.
Revisiting this after playing those, oh, Halo Infinite multiplayer wise is it's something special. 343 has nailed the feeling of it.
Yeah. I mean,
Um
yeah, I like from that's what I can see from the videos. Like I actually haven't spent any time in any of the Infinite playtests yet. And it's not really like for a lack of interest, but just, again, like I mean, one is finding the time anyway, with kids and stuff and but I mainly just I think I just want to keep everything fresh and just experience it all for the first time in like one complete polished package when it finally comes out. But yeah, I mean, from the videos, like it looks snappy, it looks crisp, uh, visually, like it looks a lot better. And so nowadays, again, like I mostly stick to single player stuff because I like to take my time and everything and play and kick my feet up and get lost in a story. But growing up, I played a really good amount of Halo multiplayer, especially 2 and 3. Like to me, even today, like I haven't played Infinite again, so I could just from what I've played, like even 2 and 3, like to me are like the pinnacle of Halo multiplayer. I just logged, hundreds of hours into them. So it's actually really exciting to hear so much praise coming out of these playtests and again, yeah, I mean everything just looks really. I like to use the word crispy. It just looks crispy, looks uh the feedback, everything that hit detection and just the sound of the guns and the reloads. I've been watching some people's clips and stuff. Uh and I think 343 is gonna nail it. I really do. Um so kudos to them. I mean it's really hard, especially now with making a game of this size in this kind of today's environment. It's honestly kudos to them.
yeah, it's I appreciate you kind of waiting for the full experience to kind of
Yeah,
have that
yeah,
initial, immersion in this game.
yeah. I mean,
Untainted.
I like to, it's not that it's tainted now. It's just like I like to see like because I mean I work in game dev. Like I know what it feel like. I see games in progress like all the time, and like we get new builds and we test new builds. Like, but it's like when you get that final polished experience, like when the day it comes out, I'll sit down at night. I think it's a Friday when it comes out, right? So I'll sit down like Friday night, got it downloaded and everything. Got my snacks ready. I know people not greasy snacks, no greasy snacks, just chocolate covered raisins or something. Those are my favorite. Uh, and just have Infinite on screen and just finally like experience that for the first time without having like done any playtests and just to me like experience that for the first time with millions of people like it's special. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I love like talk about the campaign too. Like I'm really excited for Halo. I'm 100% psyched for the campaign.
Yeah, it's the watching everything kind of unfold with Halo Infinite has been pretty fascinating because there's definitely been some controversies. There's definitely been some, criticisms, especially after the initial campaign gameplay reveal. People weren't that stoked on what we saw graphically. I
Yeah,
remember watching that and being excited. I remember watching
yeah,
that initial gameplay reveal with a friend, like one of my friends who's played Halo with me for like since launch, since Halo Combat Evolved, we were in a party chat watching that together, and we were both like, yes, the grappling hook looks dope. Watching
yeah,
the Warthog go off the jump, like it just
yeah.
felt like Halo.
See
Uh,
that open world, yeah,
And then I went on Twitter and I was like, uh-oh, people are people are
yeah,
not happy about this.
yeah. I was kind of in a similar boat. Like while I was watching it, I didn't like there was never like a thought that came across my mind was like, oh, like this looks terrible. Like I never got that. Like maybe because like Halo's never. Well, I mean, it kind of has, but it's never been like a visual like showpiece in my opinion. I mean, Halo 4 was stunning on
Yeah.
360,
Yeah.
but like Halo 5, even like Halo 3 when it came out, Halo 2, like they were good looking games, but they weren't like mind bogglingly. They didn't look like Last Supper or something. So, but watching it, like I was like, this looks good. I was like, this is. I mean, I love the openness of this world. The guns sound good. Um, the hit, like the feedback hit, like shooting the enemies and stuff, all looks good. That initial cutscene, I was like, Chief, he looks fantastic. Um, love the grappling hook, but I did like I'll admit like because I watched it several more times. I watched the 4K feed and stuff like that afterwards, and I saw people was like what people were pointing out and stuff, and I was like, all right. I was like, I do see like this needs a lot of work. Like there's a
Hmm.
lot of work still to be done. I'm like, and this is gonna come out in a few months. I was like, okay, there's a lot of work for them to do. And that was during like the peak of like COVID and stuff. I was like, man,
Yeah.
all right, they got the work cut out for them. But I mean, now like I've seen the new screens coming out. Well, several months ago. We haven't seen the campaign in a while, but several months ago when they at E3, I think, right? They have that new trailer. Uh, I'm stoked to see what it looks like now. Like Halo is easily one of my favorite IPs in games. Combat Evolved is literally in my top 10 all time best games. The original, um, pretty high up there, and still my favorite out of the whole series. I know some people are gonna, if they hear that, they can be like, "What?" But it's my personal favorite. So I enjoyed 4 and 5, maybe not as much as the earlier games, but enough to a point where I'm really interested to see where they take next. So yeah, day one, I'm there, and it looks like I'm frozen again.
Yep, I'll give you a second
Yeah,
to reset that there.
yeah,
But I'm definitely on the same page. Like after people started pointing out some of the little details in that initial gameplay reveal, pointed
yeah,
out the lighting, the texture quality, the pop in stuff like that. I was like, okay, yeah, I can understand like people being unhappy with this.
yeah,
Obviously, I was kind of in the same camp. For me, outside of Halo 4 and 5 started to transition Halo into more of a graphical showpiece, but I think the iconic era of Halo for me was never this big graphical showpiece.
yeah.
That being said, what we have seen in the
The first one was the first one on the original Xbox when that came out. I mean,
I guess that's
they
true.
that one looked stunning because we were like I had a PS2 at the time, and like games look great on the PS2. Obviously, like, Metal Gear Solid 2 was out by that time and stuff like that, and everything looked great. But man, like I don't know when the first one came out and I just got an Xbox, like I couldn't like believe what I was seeing. I'm like, this is a first person shooter of this caliber on a console. And like I still remember like reading up on it and seeing like some of the graphical techniques like they use and stuff. Like I think it was one of the first times a developer used like normal bump mapping, like on textures and stuff. You go up to like those rocks or walls or on the first level or once you descend onto Halo. And there was like the texture was just incredible, the lighting, like it was a showpiece. The first one was definitely a showpiece, at least. But
I
yeah,
remember distinctly like booting up Halo Combat Evolved for the first time and
yeah,
looking at the grass and be like, dude, this
yeah.
grass looks real. What
Look
in
at
the
these
world?
textures. Yeah, 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 man. It was a magical experience. That's kind of why it's some of my favorite in the series because even though I feel like subsequent Halos, they they either played better or they improved on things or mechanics or vehicles and things like that, multiplayer. But the original was just special. It was just special. Because it's to me, it's also why like Mass Effect's my favorite out of the whole trilogy, the first one. Even though people are like, "What?" A lot of people think Mass Effect 2 is the best, but they're wrong. Anyway, uh, it's just to me like when it's the first time when you're experiencing a world. Uh, it's special because it's like the first time you meet characters, the first time you you're in this you experience the story, learn what the story is about, learn what's happening in the world, you learn about the lore, like what this universe is. So that to me is like a very special experience, and like you can't replace that. So it's probably why the first one's still my favorite. But anyway,
Yeah,
I won't go
I've told this story several times recently, but I feel the exact same way. I introduced my wife to Halo for the first time very recently. She had never
yeah,
really played the campaign, and
yeah.
we get to the moment where she gets in the Warthog for the first time, and it's like that feeling in my
Oh,
I get a feeling in my chest. I'm like, I
and
remember
and,
that.
and that
Like
music swells.
you're just like
Oh,
this. That's when Halo clicked for me, and I think that's
yeah,
when Halo clicked for a lot of people. Is that
absolutely.
first introduction to the Warthog, seeing the map open up, you're like, wow, I've never experienced anything like this in a game
Absolutely.
before.
Exactly. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like there was nothing like it, especially on a console. Like it was. I mean, this was a full blown, just like high caliber AAA shooter. Like I mean, I just got lost in it, man. I was like, this is one of the best games I've ever played. Like and that was at that time, and it still is. So
Hands
yeah.
down, no questions there. I'm gonna get to a couple super chats and a
All
quick
right.
shout out to the 230 people rocking with us. I see Brian Hopkins, I see you, Donnie, I see Paris Lily in the chat, Mr.
Fair.
Joanna Dark. So many legendary figures in the Chatterday lore. First super chat comes from Yodani, who says, "Married guys with responsibilities that game are goaded. Hit that like, do it for Mr. Joanna Dark. Appreciate you."
Yeah, he understands.
Brian Hopkins with the super chat says, "Stopping in to show support before taking the kids to soccer. Have a great show. Look forward to listening later on." Brian, appreciate you stopping by. Good luck.
Yeah.
Hope your kids dominate with the soccer, or for the UK audience, football. Which
Game, game,
I guess
game dads represent.
side tangent here. I learned
Yeah.
something recently that upset me about all the UK folks who complain about Americans calling football soccer. The term soccer was created in the UK. Like
Oh,
that is a UK term. People from the UK created it for football, and now they make fun of Americans for using it. So
is that true? Really?
that's true. That is a fact.
Huh.
So side
I mean,
tangent.
I worked with a couple people from the UK. They're good buddies. So, oh, good. Well, we were just talking. We had a conversation about that, like 2 weeks ago, and they were laughing at me. All right, I got some ammo now. I'm gonna go back to them.
Yeah,
Appreciate
say
that.
this is on you. You did this. It's not my fault. All right, we are going to transition because
Yeah,
one of the like kind of controversies surrounding Halo Infinite has been this idea that maybe it's coming in very hot. We had
mhm,
the co-op campaign, we had Forge delayed. There's been other kind of features that they have said are coming but will not be available at launch. So
yeah,
people have had concerns about, Halo Infinite coming in hot. There's also been a few other noteworthy games that have come in very hot. The Call of
yeah,
Duty Vanguard beta, in particular, is being torn apart for its visual presentation, for its performance, for glitches.
yeah,
Battlefield had a last minute delay due to some performance issues. They had to reportedly cancel the initial beta, or I guess I should say alpha, because of a essentially game breaking bug with the PS5 build of Battlefield 2042. So
yeah,
what I want to talk about here is the current state of game development and
yeah,
some of the old mentality behind annual releases like Call of Duty in a world where COVID is realistically impacting video games in a huge way.
yeah,
Halo Infinite delayed by a year. As we've seen with this first flight compared to Battlefield and compared to Call of Duty, that was 100% the right call because
yeah. Like I think about that. I still think about that. Like I am deathly curious of what that game looked like then. Uh, like if they had to delay it a year and it took to get it up to scratch basically, like I'm really curious. Like, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall and just see what the state of the game was back then. Um,
We've talked about that previously. Like, what in the world were they going to release last year? Like,
yeah, I am really curious. Like, I would love to see like what that looked like. I mean, not to like make fun of them or anything. I just like that is a humongous length of time to push a game. So
because
especially
they
one that was
told
like,
us that they were going to release co-op like after they showed that campaign. Like they said co-op was launching with the game, and that was when it
right,
was launching last year.
Forge 2, right? Or no?
I mean, they never outright said Forge would be available at
Yeah,
launch. I
soon.
don't think
You
people.
would
Yeah,
assume probably like
yeah.
yeah. That's but yeah. I mean, yeah. There's tremendous pressure on these teams, man. Like, I mean, just from my own experience, looking at us at Untold Tales, like we're a small team, and keeping an operation going of our size globally is a massive task. Uh, so I can only imagine teams that are hundreds, sometimes like thousands of people working together towards one common goal uh, of putting out a huge AAA game, piecing it together, having it polished, running well, servers up and running, certifications all in line, localization all completed. Uh, I mean, it's really is like, it's not an exaggeration. Like it's almost like a miracle that games are even things that get made. Uh, because people really have no idea just how much work uh goes into them, and you can be sure a lot of these probably will be coming in hot. That doesn't mean I don't mean like they're going to be trash. It's just there's probably a lot that they still have on schedule that they have to get done. They probably have thousands. They probably have a big whiteboard where they're checking off bugs and seeing, right now where the state of the game, all that kind of stuff. And it's not for no reason. I mean, COVID really it really made a hard thing even harder. Um, I wish more people would go easy on them, because they're trying. I mean, they really are. It's not easy to get all the stars aligned, and they're still just human beings, doing the best they can. So it doesn't help when I know that the games are coming out soon and they're putting out betas, and they want people to play this and they want feedback, but you can let them know how you feel and what you think of the game, without just breathing fire down their throat, like just just go easy on 'em, please.
Yes, thank you so much for that
Yeah,
insight. Obviously, you're involved with that, but that is the reality. There's a bunch of humans who genuinely love video games making these
yeah,
projects, and they want people to love them, and they want people to be excited about them.
yeah,
And there's a lot of factors that go into releasing a game,
yeah,
and I think for a lot of these teams, unfortunately, there's a lot of pressure financially for games to hit certain windows. I'll use
absolutely, yeah.
the Battlefield example with homie Jeff Grubbs tanking the EA stocks by saying that Battlefield, might get delayed into 2022. The idea that Battlefield might get delayed to 2022 saw their stocks plummet straight down. Like
Yeah, yeah,
humongous drop off.
yeah,
The moment that they said that game was still coming out before Black Friday, stocks
mm,
shot straight
right
back
back
up.
up.
And it sucks because we know that there's probably people within these teams being like, please, we need some more time. Like these are things that we know about. And
Yeah,
that there's people saying, we gotta hit this. We gotta hit this
yeah,
window. Do the best you can.
yeah, man. I mean, it's a balancing act. Really, game development itself is a balancing act. You wanna sell your game, you wanna make money, um, and to do that, a lot of times you have to hit a certain window, like the optimum release window to nail that, to get those sales. And other times, the game's just not ready, and you put it out, and it's gonna be a dud, and now you just made life worse for yourself. So it's like it's really a balancing act. And
Yeah,
I would not want to be in the shoes of one of these like directors, executive producers or heads of studios at Dice or Sledgehammer or whatever, because there is tremendous when you got shareholders involved. Ooh, Like that gives me the heebie-jeebies, honestly, because it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a ton of
Yeah,
pressure. So again, I agree. We should give these teams a little bit of slack, and more importantly, you know, show some humanity to these
yeah,
people. Like as much as we associate these big names with these mega corporations, EA, whatever, the
yeah,
reality is it's just a bunch of
exactly,
people who love video games making this. And
exactly. And another thing too is like it's not the end of the world if something gets delayed. Like I mean, talking from a player, consumer perspective, it's not the end of the world. There's so much to play. Like I am overwhelmed with stuff to play. Like I can't keep up. I still have to play Hitman 3. I still want to play like Little Nightmares 2. I haven't even gotten like an hour into Kina. I have like there's just so much. All these indies coming out. Like I don't know. I know there are people that only play like one or two games a year, so it probably affects them more. Your Call of Duty players and Battlefield and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
just like at the end of the day, it's just video games. Like just if they need more time, just let them have more time. Like they know what they need. They're not gonna delay, just for the hell of it. You know what? Just Vince Zampella, whatever, just woke up one day. He's like, you know what? Push out Battlefield a few more weeks for the hell of it. I don't give a crap. Just do
Yeah,
it. Like that. It's not that there's plans. There's milestones that they have to hit and stuff like that. So and they look at all these things and they look. This is the best for the game. And if we don't do this, it's gonna make life worse for us. And I'm sure. I mean, look what happened with Cyberpunk. Like
they learned a
that's
hard
yeah.
lesson, a
They learned a very hard
really hard lesson,
A
and
very hard lesson, and I guarantee you, for their next game, whatever Witcher 4 or whatever they're doing, I guarantee you, I'm getting off tangent here, but just, I guarantee you, like they're gonna make sure that doesn't happen again, like because they have, you know, m- I always have this philosophy of like you're only as good as your last game, and that's probably not a uncommon, and a lot of people say that, but you're only as good as your last game. And even though The Witcher 3 to me is like one of the best games I've ever played, probably my favorite last gen, honestly. Um, Cyberpunk came out after that and just tanked their reputation. Even though I enjoyed Cyberpunk, and I know that's probably blasphemy on here probably, but I played it on a Series X, so I didn't experience like a whole ton of graphical issues. It was very smooth for me, and I really enjoyed it. But I understand like a lot of people have problems with it. A lot of technical problems. So I guarantee you, like they're not going to go through that again because their reputation is on the line. So, you know, there's lessons learned. Like they're gonna, lessons learned for that's probably a lesson a whole bunch of studios are looked at, and they're gonna take a lesson from that. Not just not just CD Project Red.
I'm sure 343 is stoked. After they saw how Cyberpunk released, I'm sure they all had a huge sigh of relief that they delayed this game because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was one of the most infamously disastrous
Point
launches.
to that and be like, "Do you guys want this?
Yeah.
No, no, we
And
don't want this."
so my question to you and to the chat as well is, do these companies need to fight their investors harder and say like, "Yo, at the end of the day, a few months isn't going to hurt our bottom line that much. Um, we need it. We need it if we want this game to be successful because, we don't want to lose a huge percentage of our audience out of the gate, and we don't want to lose a bunch of trust out of the gate by releasing a game that we know isn't ready to go."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they do. It's just I don't know how successful they'll be
Yeah.
because you know that's the thing. It's like they definitely they need to stand their ground. If they need more time, they need it. But again, like investors, shareholders, all that matters is just the bottom line. It's how much they can fill their pockets, and this world runs on money. So it's a balancing act. And but the thing is, I think more publishers are being more I wouldn't say like lenient, but I think they're being more understanding and like, look, when we delay things, most of the time, when we delay things and give our teams more time, they need more time to polish up whatever they need and get all that content in there. Um, the the product is better for it. Like, I mean, I before Infinite was delayed, like I would never in a million years have thought that Microsoft, a company like Microsoft. I know Microsoft's changed a lot, and Xboxes, they're doing a lot of very pro consumer friendly things and stuff like that. But still, Microsoft is, what is it, like, the richest corporation in the world, probably next to Apple or something. Like I never anticipated that they would delay their flagship IP out of the launch window of a brand new Xbox, uh, which, like, when you looked at the Series X launch lineup, like, there was nothing besides Halo. Like, that was actually, I mean, I think the Medium probably was one of the launch titles,
Like
I think.
shortly, yeah, shortly after
Yeah, I
launch.
think it was Medium, but, like, it wasn't like a killer app, It's not like, like, "Oh, I get Series X, I gotta play the Medium," All respect to Bloober Team, because I enjoyed the game. But, I mean, Halo is Xbox, so, like, when they delayed that thing a whole year, like, it shocked me, uh, because it showed me, I was like, "Wow," I mean, yeah, the game needs it. The game definitely needs it, and the the head of management and or whoever at Microsoft, they recognize that, and they're, you know what, we have to do this because this is gonna if we don't, this is gonna ruin Halo's reputation for good. Like, this is just gonna from the if we put out a buggy ass Halo, like, anytime we make a new Halo game after this, people, it's just gonna be a joke. Oh, here we go, another Infinite, like this, something like that. Like, you can't have that. Like, uh, and they probably realize, like, yeah, I mean, they've probably sunk a whole ton of money into the game. Like, I'm sure they have. It's been
Eh,
developed for years,
yes, yeah.
a new engine and everything like that. But I mean, they recognize that. Like, look, we have to put out a good game, or we're gonna be way worse off for it. So, like, I think more, and even, like, I mean, EA, for example, like, they're giving, just another example, like, they delayed Battlefield. Okay, it's only a month, but they, like, you guys need more time. What do you need? Okay, Dice Price said we need another several weeks. Okay, here you go. They Dragon Age, Bioware, they've been giving them the whole time of the world, to finish Dragon Age. Like, I think more studios are more publishers are understanding, like, we're only as good as our products are. So, yeah, we can, more of them are biting the bullet, and just, I think they understand that. So
Yeah,
that's
we
my thoughts
we
on
can
it.
even look at Horizon. That
Yeah,
was positioned to be PlayStation's big holiday IP. That was positioned to
yeah,
be the big game for them this holiday. Now they're in a position where they don't necessarily have a big holiday IP, but
yeah,
they understand that, they want to make sure that when this game launches that it is a hit and it is well received and highly regarded. So it is nice to see more people willing to delay a game. I think
yeah.
there's
And I think,
I
yeah,
was gonna say, obviously people want to play it.
yeah,
People want to play Halo, and
yeah.
I was bummed slightly when Halo was delayed, just simply for the fact that I wanted to play Halo.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
But long term, if that makes it so when I play Halo, it is a much better experience. I don't care. I don't care. Take all the time you need. And when you're a company like Microsoft, you don't really get the excuse of saying like, you know, we can't financially afford to delay it
Yeah,
because we know that's not the reality that you live in.
yeah. And again, like, I mean, there's so much to play. Like, there's more games I can even have time for. So, I mean, like, delay it whenever it's ready, bring it out. I'll be there. So
Yeah, so again, I appreciate your points on just letting these people take the time they need and, being more understanding.
absolutely.
Criticism is fine.
Yeah,
Providing criticism, letting people know how you feel is fine, but you don't
be
have to
nice
be
about it.
mean. Yeah, you don't have to be mean.
Yeah, because I guarantee you. Again, like, I work in games. Like, when people are just assholes, like, and I see feedback, whatever. That's just nasty and mean. I look at it, I'm like, all right, well, uh, you can even just be civilized about it. Just you could just, you know, again, like, these are people reading these, so just get your point across, in a well reasoned, articulate way, and I guarantee you, they will take that. 1,000 times more to heart than if you go up to their damn Twitters and tweet out some stupid crap like dead game all the time. Like just don't,
God.
just don't. Like they're not gonna read. They don't care.
Oh, appreciate that. Quick shout out to the 250 people rocking with us right now.
All
Again,
right.
if you are new to the show, we stream live every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are digging the show, hit that like button, share it out. I'm going to get to a couple super chats here from Harjeet Chani, who says, Halo Infinite, let's go. And in a sane world, delays wouldn't matter. In a console war world, well, not so much. Craig.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. That's exactly why like they don't affect me because like I I have no allegiance to any plastic box. I have none whatsoever. So like again like Halo is in my top 10, Last of Us is in my top 10. Like I have no allegiance. So like if they need more time, take all the time you need. I don't care if if it makes Xbox look bad or what's ammo for fanboys or whatever. Just reasonable adults understand. So,
Yes, I've joked about how I don't have stock in PlayStation, I don't have stock in Xbox, so I don't really care how much money they're making this holiday, or I don't really care how much money they're making, generally speaking, because I'm not getting a piece of that pie. Okay,
no, I'm not. I wish I was, but
yeah, I just want to play some good games when they're ready.
yeah,
Some big news this week. Some
yeah,
really big, interesting news that I want to talk about that broke on Thursday that honestly myself and a lot of others didn't really see coming was the announcement that the initiative was partnering with Crystal Dynamics on the development of Perfect Dark.
yeah.
So there have been a gambit of takes on this situation, ranging from pessimism to optimism.
Mm,
I will context this conversation by saying that outsourcing for development and partnering with development is not a foreign concept, especially in the AAA space. It
yeah,
happens all the time. But what
yeah.
I want to know is what was you what was your initial reaction when you saw this?
Out right out the gate, like my very first gut like reaction was really just, huh? Like, I was like, okay, that's interesting slash weird. Like and not in a bad or good way. Like I was kind of absorbing it. Um, so this is really interesting because like I think you can break this down in a few ways. Okay, so one, obviously, the basics like the initiative needs help. Okay, or else they wouldn't be calling in help from another big studio like this. So number one, they need help. Okay, that's clear. Whether it's because of deadlines or manpower or on the creative side, they need assistance. Okay, so that's clear. Uh, Second, it's well, like what I found interesting was it very rarely like do you see press releases or statements go out about this kind of collaboration. At least at least not like this early in development, right? So this was put out as a statement. So clearly like they wanted to make a big deal out of it or maybe not a big deal, but they wanted it known. They wanted it out there. Uh Three, saying that the game is still early in development, like a few years after forming the studio and bringing on a big third party studio like Crystal Dynamics to help kind of tells me that it's not really just a little bit of like technical support, right? To me, that signals that Crystal's probably going to be a lot more involved in that creatively and stuff, stuff like that. Um, and I guess like lastly, it's it's Crystal Dynamics, like to me that was again like that was a bit like huh moment. Like I was like because yeah, studios outsource stuff all the time. Um, but most of the time they're studios that are built for that sort of thing. They're outsourced houses, they're port studios, things like that. Uh, And sure, I know Daryl Gallagher's there and everything, but still, it's not it's not just a simple decision to just up and do something like this.
Yeah.
What about Avengers? Like what's going on with Tomb Raider? Uh, right? So I feel like again, like I wish the folks at the initiative all the best. Like I'm stoked for Perfect Dark. I hope it's going to be awesome. Um, but to me, like when just my initial my internal feeling is like when I saw this, I feel like things might not be all that great either at the initiative or Crystal Dynamics. It's maybe like after so long with only like a CG trailer to show, Microsoft decided they needed to call in backup, I guess, or maybe this is like maybe this is on Square's side, like maybe this is like a lifeline for Crystal after the Avengers. Uh, I don't know, who knows? I could be way off, but that's kind of my gut feeling. I I'm not like I don't like I'm not like sounding the alarm right now. It's just it's hard to say like what's going on. But to me, like at least I think for sure we can say that Crystal is definitely going to be helping. Is going to be a lot more involved than like a little like outsource house or something like that. Like like how Saber helps out doing things or splash damage or something like that. Like they're a lot more involved. It's just interesting because again, like Square owns Crystal Dynamics, so it's like I know again, like I know Daryl Gallagher's there and everything, but still, like there's money involved. Like it's a big decision. Like you can't be like, oh yeah, I know these guys. Like yeah, I'll help you guys out. Like I'll just talk to I don't know whoever's the CEO of Square. Like hey, these guys need a little bit of help. Just for like a year or two. Like no biggie. Like no no like this is a big investment. So like I'm curious like what is going on.
Yeah,
So,
it was really fascinating because you bring up an excellent point about outsourcing is not a foreign concept, and there have been big teams who've outsourced, first party Nintendo games, etc. But what's odd is having this big reveal, having this big statement with the initiative and Crystal Dynamics coming out and saying, "Hey, we have partnered with this. We are excited to partner with these guys." And like you mentioned, Crystal Dynamics is owned by Square, so that adds another kind of wrinkle to this entire situation. When I first saw it, I just thought it was weird. I didn't really feel strongly one way or the other. I wasn't
yeah
doom and gloom. But the more I
yeah
thought about it, the more I realized that, you know, Crystal Dynamics has a great reputation for bringing back Tomb Raider, which was this,
yeah
iconic female video game protagonist that was struggling to find relevance. And
yeah
that's essentially what they're doing with Perfect Dark. Daryl Gallagher, who is, the head of the initiative, used to be the head of Crystal Dynamics, so he knows exactly what this team is capable of, and he has a
yeah
good relationship with this team. So it was
yeah
probably, Microsoft is understanding in a huge way how hard it is to build a studio from the ground up. The
yeah
initiative has been their big kind of, we want to have our own brand new studio with, industry leading talent, and manpower is difficult. There's
yeah
been this conflict where they are talking about the initiative being small and nimble, and then,
yeah
the job listings that people point to where they're like, we're making a quadruple A game.
yeah
Small and nimble teams don't spend 6 years on humongous releases like Perfect Dark. That's
yeah
that's a conflict to what their messaging is.
yeah
So there's been speculation amongst members of the community that maybe the initiative is like a brain a brain farm for Xbox Game Studios. They come up with the idea. They have these visionaries who get the idea across, and then they partner with studios like Crystal Dynamics to bring it to light. So
yeah
maybe going forward, we'll see more projects from the initiative
yeah
in development
that,
simultaneously.
yeah and that's an interesting way to look at the initiative. I didn't really think of it that way, but it could it could kind of explain maybe like after 2-3 years how the studio is still only there's still like 70 people. Like
Hmm.
it's interesting to me because like every now and then I'll see their LinkedIn or I'll like or just read up on the team, whatever, and job posting and stuff. I'm like, yeah, like this is 3 years later, like there's still like 70 people. I'm like, huh, I wonder I wonder what's going on. Not like in a bad way. I'm like, I wonder what's going on over there. Like, what are they? Um, it's like to me, it's like Crystal is interesting.
Crystal
I
is
know,
it?
like,
It's an
I know
interesting
again,
choice.
I know again, like Daryl's there. I understand that. I know like there's a relationship there, but again, like you need there's more to it than like just, well, he used to head up Crystal, so like, I'll just call in a lifeline. Hey buddies, come over here. Like, like it's not like is Square okayed this. Like they were like, okay, spend a year or two, however long it takes for for this game to come out. It's like, hey, siphon off we don't even know how many from Crystal are working on it. Like, I don't even know if it's like 20, 30 people or like 100 people. Like, I don't know, 150, 200 people. I don't know.
All right, tinfoil hat time here. We're going
Yeah,
down the conspiracy rabbit hole.
oh,
Don't take any of this to heart. But
my favorite.
do you think Square is unhappy with Crystal Dynamics for the launch of the Avengers? And this is Square's way of saying we can get more money by letting Microsoft borrow Square for Perfect Dark than we can get from letting letting Crystal Dynamics make a new game.
Honestly, like that was one of my thoughts. Like that was it's certainly a possibility. Like again, like I work in games, so I never want to put anyone like throw anyone under the bus. Like game development is hard, and they worked hard on the Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
and kudos to them. But the reality is like I don't know how well that game is doing in terms of profit or whatever. So like it's I'm looking at it like this again, like what you suggested, like could be a way to make some cha-ching, or it like so I don't want anyone to like run away with this and be like, "Oh, this is what Shinobi said this." No, no, no. I have no idea. Like I have no idea. I'm
This is
like
tinfoil hat time. This
it's
is
what happened. I'm like brainstorming. Outward brainstorming is like maybe Square like isn't all that happy with like their Western studios, like how they're performing. Like after the Avenger, there was that thing about like the Tomb Raider trilogy, like the first one or something, like, and even like the second one, like they weren't happy with the sales, even though it sold like 6 million copies or something crazy. Like
mhm.
like they still weren't happy with it. The Avengers, I can't imagine like they're thrilled of at the state of the Avengers. Like to me, I that's my assumption. I imagine they're not happy with it. Uh, and then there's IDOS, which amazing studio. I love Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and Mankind Divided. I thought they were fantastic games. But again, like Mankind Divided, I guess it didn't light the world on fire, in the sales charts. So they're now they're doing Guardians. So it's like to me, it's like I wonder if like if Guardians doesn't do well, like it might be a great game if it doesn't like sell. Like IDOS and Crystal like might be burning a hole in Square's pocket. Like they might just be like, let's just stick to our Japanese stuff and our Japanese studios and and offload them. Like who wants these? Like who wants them? It's certainly possible. Like I'm
That's
not again like I don't know if this is the case, but like it's certainly possible. It could certainly be where Phil and or Daryl, whoever, they sat down with Crystal and like, hey, can we or Square, and it's like, hey, can we get Crystal like involved in our production pipeline and get used to our processes and things like that, and kind of like slowly like we can like integrate them or something like that. Uh, maybe I have no idea. And they could like pick them up after that. Like I don't know. That's
hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
again. I have no idea. I really don't. Like I just like I'm guessing here. Like it's a possibility. I've ran through like different scenarios. Like it might be. So
That is a fascinating idea, and I think there as much as it is wild speculation on our part, I think it
yeah,
is grounded in the reality that Square, from a business standpoint, has struggled to make money. They don't know how to make money with their Western games. It's every time they release a Western game, it doesn't perform well, or it doesn't
right.
perform well enough for them to be happy. Marvel's
Yeah,
Avengers,
yeah,
it's Marvel. How did that not make money? How did that not turn a profit yet? Like
yeah,
they are struggling with Western development. And I wonder if, Xbox is using this as an opportunity to be like, we understand the talent at Crystal. There's no
yeah,
denying the talent at Crystal. If we can get them involved with Perfect Dark, and we can get them happy and we can build this relationship, maybe
Yeah.
if Square is trying to offload some of these Western development houses, we would be first in line and we would have a relationship and a rapport established, and we could just be like, boom, Crystal Dynamics is part of Xbox Game Studios.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, and again, like, I'll I'll say this, like, um, like when it comes to acquisitions, like, I'm not. How can I word this without like people taking their clubs out and want to club me over the head? Uh, I'm not a fan of like acquisitions in general. Like, at least uh, I understand like when there's like independent studios out there and like like Double Fine or like Housemark or something like with PlayStation stuff like that, and like they do great work. And it's like if they don't find security blanket, like they have a hard time staying afloat. Like definitely I understand. Like, hey, join us. We'll take care of you, and like you're part of our family now, and like you'll be good to go. Like that's like I understand that. That's cool. Like go right ahead. It's like when I see something like Bethesda, and again, people on Xbox fans like they loved it. It's like, oh my god, we got Bethesda game, Starfield and Elder Scrolls. It's all ours now. You know, we got
Yeah.
Wolfenstein, we got Doom. Like that's fine. Like I understand, it's exciting, but it's like me again. Like from a purely like neutral perspective, like I have no allegiance. Again, I have a Switch. I got my Series X. I got my PS5 here. Love them all. From a completely like observer perspective, like I don't like it. I because and it'd be the same thing if like again before anyone like jumps on me, it's like it'd be the same thing if like if Sony was like, we just acquired Capcom, like I don't like that, like because I prefer if like these established like independent publishers can just stay that way and more people can experience all these games and we'll all sing Kumbaya and that's just me like, but I know it's not the reality. And acquisitions are going to happen, but again, like yeah, it's certainly possible. Like this is Microsoft's plan. Like they already sat with Square, and they were like, hey, or sat with Crystal too. All three of them, they just kind of hashed it out. It's like, hey, look, let's do this. Let's get them in, and you know, if it works out, welcome them to the family.
Let's go. Yeah, let's acquisition season is people love talking about acquisitions. And again, I've talked about this before. A lot of it just comes from certain fandoms just wanting to be able to dunk on other fandoms for having something that they don't get. Some of you might say it's different and comes from a different place, but I know some of you feel that way, and that's fine. It's fun. It's fun to
Yeah,
have that kind of sports team mentality of your team versus their team. But
yeah,
I understand your concerns of acquisitions for the sake of acquisitions alone. I have
yeah,
always maintained the stance that if an acquisition enables a team to make better work and do better
yeah,
work without the fear of them having to lay off their entire team and go bankrupt, then I'm all for it.
yeah,
If that legitimately gives you more creative freedom and lets you make better games, then yes.
yeah.
As
And
Micro
like for example, like I mean, Starfield was one example. Like that's I can't wait for that. And I think like Todd Howard and the team, like being able to focus on one like one platform, one SDK, and like one SKU, like PC and Xbox. Like I think that will help them out a lot in terms of like polish and just putting out a great game. So like there are definitely good sides to it. It's just like part of it is like you can see the industry consolidating like in real time. Like it's just everyone's buying up everybody, and
Mhm.
it's like I'm always. It doesn't affect me because I have all of them, so like I'll play them wherever. That doesn't matter. But like in general, like I'm not a fan of consolidation. No matter what industry it is, but it's in the nature of the business. So
Yeah, exactly. It's the nature of the beast. I'm going to get
yep,
to a couple super chats, give a quick shout out to the over 300 people hanging with us. Really
All right.
appreciate you guys tuning in. Harjeet Chani says, granted, it may mean nothing, but could the initiative slash Crystal Dynamics thing show any potential for an acquisition target? Xbox did this to themselves with Zenny. Yeah, we touched on this a little bit, but there
Yeah.
is a reality where that is absolutely part of this entire equation.
Certainly possible. Absolutely.
We got Harjeet Chani with two more. Dang, just killing it. I think for Game Pass to work, Xbox needs to own more content just the way it is.
Ooh.
I've talked about this publicly, but I'll kind of get your opinion on it. I think we will see more exclusives in a big way than we've ever seen before with this battle for platform and platform value.
Yeah.
Xbox wants people to sign up for Game Pass, and they're going
Yeah.
to do whatever they need to do to make sure there is big exclusive content that gets you to sign up for Game
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah. For sure. I think that's the biggest, and that's the biggest uh, point of it. Really, that's the biggest reason why it's happening because they recognize that. I mean, there's Netflix, there's Amazon Prime and HBO Max. Like they all battle it out, for content. So like again, everyone says it. Content is key. Absolutely,
hmm Look
content
at
is key.
look at
So
Paramount Plus. I don't want Paramount Plus at all. I have no interest in Paramount Plus, and then they tell me that they get Halo. They're getting the Halo TV series. Now I'm like,
uh,
damn it.
oh, they are getting hit. Oh, they're oh
Now I'm
god.
going to have to sign up for Paramount Plus to watch Halo, and that pisses me off.
I totally forgot about that. Yep, now I have to too. I thought it was like HBO or something. God, damn.
I've been dodging Paramount so hard because I already have so many, and I get it. They
Yeah.
all they all want me to sign up, but I can't sign up for them all. I'm only one man.
Oh man. I got Disney, I got HBO, I got Prime, I got Netflix. Oh god, here we go.
Here we go. There's
Bring
been
Paramount.
there's been the memes on Twitter where people are like, yeah, I ditched cable to save money, and then they detail every streaming service they have. It's like $150. Like, oops.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Another super chat from Harjeet Chani who says, also, Xbox has given other consoles a way to play with Xbox by allowing Game Pass, even in a limited way, on their platforms. Yeah, there's an interesting kind of conversation and dynamic between Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo right now and their approach.
Yeah,
Xbox is going to pretty much wherever they can go, and they want to
yeah,
they want to have their services on platforms regardless of where they are. And then
yeah,
Nintendo and PlayStation are still kind of in the camp of we want you to buy a console and we want you to be dedicated to this hardware.
yeah.
Long term, do you think any of these is a better approach, or is it too early to say?
It's really I think it is really like it's too early. Like I think Microsoft has a I think Microsoft approach is more future proof. Like I use I don't know like I hate using that word, but like the way they approach it, like yeah, having your content on as many platforms as possible is just the way it is. Like yeah, that's gonna benefit you. Like
hmm
more people get to play your stuff. You're gonna get more money. Like that's reality. But I truly like I think like if Sony and Nintendo were like open to having Game Pass on their platforms, like Microsoft would jump on it. They'd be
Oh
like,
yeah,
here you go. Like
Phil's pretty
have it
much
all.
said
Like,
that. Phil's pretty much said, "Yo, we'll do it
yeah,
in a heartbeat if they'll let us."
yeah, yeah. It's just I'm sure a lot of it has to do with on those platforms it's gonna look a little weird because like on eShop or PSN, you can have Starfield for like $60, and then but you can also download Game Pass here and you can get it for $15 a month, get all this stuff for free. Like no one's gonna buy Starfield on the PSN store. Um,
No, and
so
that's why
like
PlayStation's like, no.
yeah, hell will freeze over before PlayStation puts Game Pass on PlayStation. Um, but but it's also like Nintendo and Sony also recognize like putting their big stuff on other platforms is good for their bottom line too because like
Yep.
Sony they've been putting more stuff on PC and that is gonna kick up a notch too because they like they bought out Nixus and stuff and like a very talented port house. And so we're going to start seeing a lot more ports for sure. They also have, like IP, like I guess PlayStation IPs that are doing well on mobile. Like what was it, like Genshin or something? I don't play that kind of stuff, but um, they do well on mobile and stuff, and Nintendo even has dabbled with mobile. Like I mean, they put Mario on mobile, Pokemon's on mobile. Like
They've met.
it's not the traditional experiences, but like
They're
they're
ma-
making money. So like each one. I think the key takeaway is everybody is doing great. Everybody's making making their change and again, I don't have stocks, so I don't care how much money they make, but
yeah.
the point is everyone's doing well. The industry is healthy in terms of Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So, that's good for players. So
Yeah, that's my stance is whoever
yeah,
wins, quote unquote, is whoever
we
has
win.
the most money to make the best games. Like that's what I'm most
Whoever
invested in.
wins, we win too. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
if they're all thriving, then as the meme goes, we eating good, bro.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, we are eating good. I'm stuffed already this year. So
It's out of control.
yeah,
Circling back to Perfect Dark really quick. I have
yeah.
two kind of big important questions regarding this.
Uh,
One, is this another case of Microsoft announcing a game way too early? And two, when do you think Perfect Dark releases after this messaging?
hmm, is it? Did they announce too early? Well, I mean, I don't think they did. They've been working on it for years before. I mean, didn't they? It was announced the Game Awards last year, right? So,
Hmm.
I mean, since the formation, I mean, that was about 2.5 years. And I know like I'm also not a fan of like CG teasers. Like I like to get gameplay and see what the game looks like and everything. But a lot of times these teasers are also recruiting tools. Like
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
able, they're able to just put them out there and be like, we are making a brand new Perfect Dark from the ground up, something new, a reboot. And like, come join us. Like, yeah, you're gonna get people joining you. Um, it probably was in the grand scheme of things a little early because people want to see stuff. But to me, like, dude, I like to know what is happening. I mean, as soon as a project is like greenlit, like as soon as like the paper is signed, you haven't even gotten like one piece of concept art out. Like I don't, it doesn't bother me. Like I like to know something is coming. Like tell me, all right, hey, this is gonna come out in 5 years. Okay, that's fine, whatever. This sounds great. Whenever it comes out, I'll be there. Like it's like movies. Like I mean, Marvel announces their stuff years ahead of time.
Hmm.
And like no one bats an eye. It's like, okay, yeah, well, sounds cool. I'll be there. Same thing with me with games. Like I would prefer to just tell me whenever it's signed and greenlit and you're working on it. That's cool with me.
Yeah,
Uh
it's one of those things where I understand like having it early, and I'm totally fine with that. Like when Fable was announced, like CG teaser, we know it's years and years away. That's
yeah,
cool. I'm still stoked about the idea of a new Fable existing. I'm still stoked
yeah,
about the idea of a new Perfect Dark existing. But I'll use the recent example of the latest Kirby game that was released by Nintendo or revealed by Nintendo. Nintendo shows this huge epic reboot of Kirby with gameplay, and they're like, "Yo, you're playing this in a couple months."
yeah.
Like there's weight and value to that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, I mean it helps a lot. I mean, like it that was huge for Fallout 4, back in
Oh
2015. Like
yeah.
they sucked all the air out of the room at that E3. Like it was theirs, and like it can work for some games, and but other games it could help for them to have a longer tail, to be able to just have that project like out there and simmer and really like simmer in people's minds, and like just so you have years of marketing and like people get reminded like, oh, this is coming. That hype builds up, and
Yeah. That
uh
constant drip.
yeah, the constant drip, man, it's just teasing you. So like there's weight in that too. Like it's all just depends on the game.
Yeah, I totally agree. I wanted to bring that up because I saw people, having strong opinions on Microsoft's history with revealing games arguably too early in some cases, and then either having big development changes or straight up canceling
Yeah.
projects.
And part of it also is like I think because like when you look back at the last couple like a year or two of Xbox, like E3s and shows and stuff like that, or Game Awards stuff, like a lot of times, like, again, like it's CG teasers or short little like reveals or whatever. And again, like there's nothing wrong, like absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just like I think what their goal was like, we were heading into a new Xbox generation, and even if some of this stuff is early, like we want to let people know like why, like this is why you want to invest in Xbox. Like this is why
Mhm.
you want to get an Xbox. All this good stuff is coming. Uh because like if you don't show that stuff, you gotta have you gotta have a pitch. You gotta have, you know, you gotta have some oomph behind your box. So it's kind of like Sony. Their 2016 E3, like they came out like they just like put all their cards on the table. Like they're like, here's God of War, here's Days Gone, here's Death Stranding, here's Spider-Man. It's like it was like a deluge, So like I think that's kind of like the approach like Microsoft took is like, yeah, we can only show teasers, but it's like, hey, it's like we got Fable coming, we got State of Decay 3, we got Perfect Dark coming, we got look, Everwild, we got all this kind of stuff, Forza Motorsport 8, like what's some other stuff I'm
There's
forgetting. Anyway,
Avowed, there's Outer
yeah,
Worlds 2, like
exactly.
they're
Avowed, Outer Worlds 2, Starfield, like all that kind of stuff. Like you gotta show people why they want an Xbox. So it's like I definitely understand. Like it doesn't bother me. Like even when now if you're showing like a CG trailer like 2 3 times in a row, like I'm gonna be all right. This is getting old. Like and I want to see the game now. But
yeah.
for an initial reveal, like I think it's cool. Like to give you an idea of what the project is and stuff like that. I would have loved to have seen more Fable because man, I'm dying for some Fable.
Dude,
It's been too
same.
long. It's been too long, and I can't wait to see what Playground does with it. So like I'm itching to see more of that.
Yeah, you bring up some excellent points about Xbox needing to prove its roadmap, and the narrative for a lot of people for a long time was that Xbox has no games. And
Yeah,
Xbox doesn't have games that are, meaningful, or Xbox doesn't have games that are going to make me either buy a console or sign up for Xbox Game Pass. So a lot of these announcements have been designed to say that we own these studios. We are not partnering with third party studios for a lot of these big iconic projects. Most of these are ones we own, so we can guarantee that if we show you this early, that it's coming out
yeah,
somehow, some way. It's coming out. We're getting
yeah,
this done.
yeah,
Um,
and that works too because it's like I've seen like all the fan art like graphics and stuff like that out there like on Twitter and social media where it's like people have uh like a timeline or something where all their first party studios it's like, hey, look, this is what this is what you can look forward to. It's like, yeah, even though they're years away, some of them, but
that Marvel effect that you talked
that
about.
Marvel effect, yeah, exactly, man. Like that works. Like it's people see all these projects and they see these pretty graphics and it's like, oh man, like look at all these games coming, like and it works. Like and I can't like harp on them for that. Like kudos.
Yeah, no, they're doing what they need to do, I think.
Yeah,
Final point on Perfect Dark before we move on. I
yeah,
think the bottom line for me is that I'm not concerned about this news.
yeah,
Like for me, this news is not concern worthy. In fact, I'm actually kind of excited about the idea of Crystal Dynamics having that Microsoft money, if I'm being quite frank. Like they
yeah,
have resources that they never would have had with Square, and I think that's only going to make Perfect Dark ultimately be better than it would have been.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there's a lot of talent and both like at the initiative and Crystal. So I mean, like I my gut is like they know what they're doing, and I don't see any reason to like fret yet. So yeah, I just want to see I want to see the game.
Yep.
So
Same.
excited
Same.
for that.
I know this is an Xbox show, but we
Yeah.
we got to touch on some Nintendo Direct stuff.
Ah,
Specifically, the amount of energy and excitement going into this Nintendo Direct from members of both the Nintendo community and the Xbox community, revolving
yeah,
the final DLC character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's coming. We're coming to
yeah,
the end of a saga. Sakurai is going to do his final Mr. Sakurai Presents on October 5th.
yeah,
And myself and many people on Twitter have been pushing and championing the idea of Master Chief being the final DLC character for Super Smash Bros. And really giving Xbox a proper mascot in
Yeah.
the mythos of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah.
So where are you at? Where do you want Master Chief? Do you think Master Chief makes sense? Would you care at all if Master Chief was in Smash? Does that move the needle for you?
Honestly, like, I have like a boring answer. I haven't played Smash in years. Like, last Smash Brothers I played, I was huge into Smash, the original on N64. I was huge into it on GameCube, Smash, Melee. Skip the Wii entirely. Like, I skipped the Wii. I never picked it up. Never picked up the Wii U version either. So it's like, and I have a Switch. I haven't picked this up either. I haven't picked up Smash Ultimate yet either. But like, I've loved Smash for a long time. um, it's just like I think for me, like Nintendo games, most of them, like they don't move the needle for me as much anymore, and it hurts me to say that because like I grew up on Nintendo. Like I adored Nintendo. I had the NES, SNES, Game Boy Color. I had all of them. I would play them religiously. Game Boy Advance, Golden Sun, put that in my hands. Like I would play for weeks. Like and just never get bored. But um, Smash, it's uh, does Master Chief make sense? Yes and no. I get like I feel like Nintendo would want this last character to be like a huge splash, just get people talking again and like and I don't know if Master Chief would be that character. Like I'm not saying Master Chief isn't iconic because he definitely is. But it's like I don't Smash is a very it's a Nintendo staple. Like the Nintendo diehards are all over Smash. So it's like if they if they had that trailer, it's like well, new challenger and Master Chief comes out. Like I don't know if like millions of Nintendo fans would be like yes, Master Chief. Like I don't know. Like I don't know if I could picture that, but I love the Chief. I think that would be awesome to see. I mean, like when they included Snake in there and Sonic and stuff, like I thought that was sweet. Like it was cool to see these characters battling it out. But I think Chief could work. It's like I would like to see it, but I have no idea. I generally don't. I don't know if I have like a feeling one way or another. But I don't know. Do you?
Selfishly, I want Master Chief. Obviously,
Yeah.
I love Halo. I think it would be really cool to have a first person shooter rep. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, we have Steve in Smash Bros. We have Banjo in Smash Bros. But to me, those are not Xbox reps. Like
Right.
Minecraft and Banjo existed before Xbox. They weren't really part of the Xbox lore. So of all of the biggest publishers, Xbox right now is the only one that doesn't really have that representation in a huge way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
I think Master Chief would be awesome, but you bring up something very interesting about this. This is the final character for Super Smash. This is the final time Sakurai is going to do a direct, reveal a new character. They have
Yeah.
said flat out, this is the final piece of DLC for
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros., which is a love letter to not only video games as a whole, but Nintendo as a whole. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that it will be Chief for those reasons, but
Like oh, from a player perspective, like we're platform players, like it would be awesome to see that, but it's like I don't know like if that's what Sakurai would see would envision as something that would like satisfy the majority of Smash players. Like they're these are like heavy like Nintendo fans. Like I don't know like if that would do the trick. So
but think of the hype of Master Chief coming to Smash, the
yeah,
year of the 20th anniversary of Halo and the year Halo Infinite comes out. Like
yeah,
as an Xbox fan, that is
yeah.
maximum hype right there.
That
That
would
is
be
like
oh, absolutely, and you can cross promote that. There's a lot of like cross promotion opportunities and marketing opportunities that would like benefit both Nintendo and Microsoft. So like I could see it and I could not see it. So
I
we'll
want to
see.
bring up something interesting revolving all of this as well because
Yeah,
part of the Nintendo Direct revealed that Banjo-Kazooie, which is now owned by Rare, which
yeah,
is now owned by Xbox, is
yeah,
coming to Nintendo Switch. And people are like, yo, what the hell? What's the deal here? I thought this was now an Xbox property and it's coming back to Nintendo. So what I want to say is, should Microsoft tax Nintendo for Banjo with Master Chief and Smash?
Tax them, tax them. So it's like, hey, if you want Banjo, give us Master Chief and Smash.
Yeah,
Like,
that would be my conversation in that boardroom. Like, yo, all right, this is how it's working. If you want Banjo that bad for your N64 online, here's what it's going to cost.
I, or I mean, honestly, like I don't think like that's how they
No,
that's how they work. But
no.
number one, because I mean, like Smash is Smash, like it's massive. So like I don't know if like, hey, we'll give you Banjo for last year. Like that's like like trading a Magikarp for like a like a Venusaur or something. um, but yeah, it's cool that Banjo's on there. I mean, like I think it's something that Microsoft is probably more lenient on because Banjo is still like it's still heavily associated with Nintendo.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, because it was born there, it was born on Nintendo and stuff, um, and I think it's just like it's a PR win for both Microsoft and Nintendo. It's like Microsoft it shows like they're willing to work with Nintendo, they're open to collaborating and stuff like that, and giving a fan favorite character like Banjo putting on the platform like wins over a lot of people on Nintendo side, and like it makes sense to me. Like, I mean, they put Minecraft on there. Like even though Minecraft is massive, like way way bigger than Banjo, so I can understand Microsoft wanting to put that everywhere, but still, like it's a nice little win for both sides. So like I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think realistically, they're doing it for the fans more than anything. Like you
Yeah,
said, Xbox understands that even though they own Banjo, Banjo has this legacy and reputation on the
yeah,
Nintendo side, and is
yeah,
is one of the pillar like staple Nintendo 64 games. When you think of N64,
yeah,
you think of Banjo. Like
yeah,
if you grew up playing it, you think of Banjo. And so I think
yeah,
that's more what this is they get that and they
yeah,
respect the fans and they're like, here you go.
yeah.
Here's a gimme.
Throw them a little treat. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, just a little treat. There are people I see people in the chat, and I've seen this. People with my kind of joke stance of Xbox needs to get aggressive with these deals. It can't be so one sided. Xbox got to say, what am I getting out of this? But as we've seen with Phil and a lot of the higher ups at Xbox, they do love gaming, and they don't really care like where they're playing. Like they constantly
I mean,
praise PlayStation, they constantly praise Nintendo.
that's just how Phil is, man. Like I'm sure, like he has a lot of say in these kinds of things, and like it's not like, and not everything has to be looked at as like a threat. Like
Yeah.
like
We're at
you know,
war here, Nintendo. What
yeah,
do you?
gotta hold the line. It's like,
Banjo's a
oh,
prisoner of war. You don't get.
yeah, man. It's yeah, it's like some kind of like between two countries, like a prisoner exchange or something. It's like we get from Banjo. We got what do we get? It's like look, like it's the N64 version of it's N64 Banjo. Like it's great. Like look, Nintendo fans get to play it, and Microsoft gets money from it because they own it now, so they're gonna get some money in their pockets. So I mean, like, there's nothing bad about that at all. Like that's just how Phil is. That's how Microsoft is nowadays, and that's great. I like that.
Yeah, no, I love it too. It's fun to talk about the business side and the competition side, but
Yeah.
I constantly praise Xbox's team because they just genuinely seem like they love gaming, and there's not this kind of gross,
A
strictly
full
business mentality to everything they do.
a full like 180 from this era. The Xbox One launcher.
Don Matrick, shout out to the goat.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, like they've turned a leaf, and like I love it. I love where they're at now. Um, love that so much to look forward to, and they're on the right path. So yeah.
Yes. I'm going to get to some super chats here. We got Snowdragon who says, what does having the Edge browser on Xbox open up? Someday, could you play other platforms on the Xbox? Do you think we're going to see Nintendo or PlayStation have a dedicated kind of xCloud web browser where we can just stream Nintendo and PlayStation games to our web browser?
Huh. Um, I, it seems feasible to me. It seems possible. I'm not big on cloud gaming. Like I don't know like what the technology looks like there, and like I'm not an expert on cloud, but I don't know. I mean, like if there's a loophole that way, Sony. I mean, and like PS Now, like I don't use that much. I don't use that at all either. So I don't know like what that looks like now, or if there's anything Nintendo related on the internet, like a browser or something. I have no idea. So I don't know. Like I'm a bad person to ask. Like I guess it's feasible. What do you think?
Yeah, I think long term it could exist. I think
Yeah.
PlayStation more specifically is building to a world with streaming in mind. Like they have like PS Now and things kind of in place that could
Yeah.
potentially offer that solution.
Yeah.
Nintendo though, they don't have anything at all close to that. So if
Yeah.
Nintendo's going to do it, it would take a while,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
it'll take
Right.
a while before PlayStation gets there too.
But hey, Nintendo, they just got Bluetooth, so you know.
Nintendo forever a decade behind, but I
Yeah,
still love them. I
well,
still love.
that's good because now we can anticipate, like, they're a decade behind, so we can anticipate like what we're gonna get from them
Yeah, what
each year.
yeah,
It's
what we're
like,
playing now or what we're, using now in terms of like features, just
yeah,
that's what the Switch will be in 10 years.
yeah,
So, yeah,
in 10 years.
get
There you go.
excited. Get Dead Planet with a super chat says the Game Awards 2021. New Xbox game or one already shown. All right.
Mhm.
Nate, do you think Xbox is dropping a new banger, quote unquote, at the Game Awards this year?
Hmm. But that is an excellent question, and my again, like I don't know, so just brainstorming, but it seems like they're liking the Game Awards, lately.
Uh-huh. They like buddy that they're buddies with Jeff. They love
Yeah.
Jeff.
They freaking revealed the Series X there,
Mhm.
which, their brand new console. That was out of nowhere, and then they brought out Hellblade 2 right after that. Last year, they brought out Perfect Dark. Uh, I certainly would not be surprised if they brought out some kind of banger there, and if I had to, like I'm trying to think because they got so much going on right now. It's like I'm trying to think of like what would be a good bet. M- my like I guess my initial like first thing that pops in my mind is like you could like maybe we see In Exiles new game
Oh, yeah.
like like a teaser just like a Perfect Dark teasers. It's like even though it's like years away probably, but that would be a good one. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm expecting Xbox to show up in a huge way at the Game Awards
Yeah,
for all the reasons you already touched on. They
yeah,
like Jeff's show, they like the format, they like the attention it brings. It
yeah,
showcases Xbox
it's-
on a,
yeah,
universal scale. It's not an Xbox focused show. This is a gaming focused show, and Xbox wants the world and the industry to know that they are here in a big way.
yeah,
Again, this isn't stuff I know,
yeah,
but I am expecting avowed gameplay. I'm expecting to see an avowed gameplay trailer, and I'm also expecting, this long rumored Kojima project. I imagine could get revealed at the
yeah.
Game Awards.
That would be huge, and that's I could see that too because Jeff and Kojima are just they're just buddies, so that would not surprise me at all either.
Let me
Yeah,
paint this picture for you for how I envision this to go down. We
uh-huh,
have Jeff. Obviously, Jeff loves Kojima. Jeff and Kojima are tight. They're buddies. Jeff is like, I want to bring out a good friend and creator, Hideo Kojima, who's going to reveal his new project. But
uh,
Hideo Kojima comes on stage. They embrace. They're excited. They're sharing about what this concept can be. And then from the top ropes, Phil Spencer comes out on stage, and he's like, I'm honored and privileged to partner with this legendary creator, and
yeah,
here is what's next from Hideo
yeah.
Kojima. Boom, teaser for this Xbox exclusive Kojima project. Crowd goes wild.
I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it. That will be a little hard. It'll be a little hard to pull off since it's probably going to be digital. So
Yeah, exactly. It's probably won't be that hype because of
yeah,
COVID, but
yeah.
you
But
know.
But yeah, I was actually gonna say that, like Kojima parachutes in from a Fulton parachute or something, and just I'm back.
I'm back. What's
you
good?
know,
Here it is.
yeah. But yeah, I could honestly though, I could that would make sense. Like I would not be surprised to see that either.
But
Because because Kojima also like he doesn't mind showing off things early either. Like he showed off Death Stranding
Like
in
tease or yeah, weird
2006.
cryptic ass teasers way
Yeah,
ahead of
weird
time.
ass trailer, and that was like over 3 years away at that point. So like he has no problem, sharing things that are way out, way on the distance. So I could see it. I could see, In Exile, Kojima, Compulsion, maybe Compulsion has something ready to show.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of question marks from Xbox Game Studios for teams we know are working on something, but we don't know what it is. So they have
Right,
some stuff they're sitting on that they could definitely show at the Game Awards.
right, exactly.
So,
Yeah,
just keeping that slate, keeping you looking on the horizon of Xbox. I mean, like,
yeah.
okay,
And
like,
that is yeah, and that is by design, like they want you thinking that way. So
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Another super chat from Colt Eastwood. What is up, dude? He says Xbox and Sumo Digital should make a banjo game. Sackboy's Big Adventure is incredible.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's a good
That
partnership.
could work. I mean, they they have the platforming chops. They have the cuteness factor. I mean, Sackboy is adorable and it's charming and all that kind of stuff. And they're a humongous studio, they're massive. So like I could see it. Like
I could
I could definitely see it.
Let's go. Yeah, no, I think Banjo needs to come back in some way, shape, or form. Xbox right now doesn't have an in-house studio who seems to care at all about making one, so they would have to ultimately partner with somebody to make it. And
Yeah, yeah. It's curious to me. Like I wonder, like what I'm curious, like how Microsoft is looking at Banjo right now. Because everything's got to. I mean, Rare is heads down on Everwild, and that's it's probably a little ways out still. So yeah, it's like I wonder, like what are if they're looking to outsource for a new Banjo or who knows. But I'm curious, like what financially speaking, like what they see is the potential there for a new Banjo. I'd love to be a fly on the wall, but
I wonder if the success of Psychonauts 2 has maybe reinvigorated the conversations. I wonder if they
yeah,
were, because we saw how Ukulele landed, and it didn't land in a huge way. Like there was a lot of kind of hype and energy behind like a Banjo reboot, and this served as a spiritual successor to it. But I don't think for a lot of people it really filled that Banjo gap like people thought maybe it would. So I wonder
yeah,
if that kind of fumble made them scared to bring back
probably.
Banjo in a little way. And now I wonder if Psychonauts 2 being this huge game of the year contender is like, okay, maybe we can do something impactful and meaningful with Banjo.
Yeah, you said Double Fine? Is that what you said? Is that what you said? Is that how you said Double Fine?
Oh, double I was just talking about Psychonauts 2 being from Double Fine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Double Fine could pull off an awesome banjo game, but like it's knowing Tim Schafer, like
He
his history and stuff.
he said no. He's like, we're
Yeah,
not, yeah, that's not something we would
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. He likes to do his own stuff and his own, new IPs and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. So
No, no, I'm
yeah,
I'm again like I don't fault Rare. A lot of people are, why doesn't Rare do it? I don't fault Rare for wanting to try new ideas.
yeah,
That's their main focus right now. That's what
yeah.
they're gonna do, and I'm cool with
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We did get one special treat from the Nintendo Direct, and we I mean Xbox fans. And I want
Wow.
to just quickly shout this out because this collection is absolutely phenomenal. And for 20 bucks, it's an absolute steal. And that is the Castlevania Advance Collection, which brings all of the Game Boy Advance Castlevanias and Dracula X
Ooh.
to Xbox. So if you care about Castlevania at all, buy it, please. Please buy it.
Yeah.
Show support because I want a new Castlevania so damn bad. And those games are so good.
Yeah. I'm scared to say anything because like I my experience with Castlevania is literally I dabbled a bit in that old that old Castlevania game on N64.
Oh no.
Yeah, so there was that, and I did not like that at all. And then I played Lords of Shadow, which I loved. I actually loved Lords of Shadow. Um, so that's my only experience with Castlevania. I know it's like beloved on the 2D versions are beloved and stuff like that, but it's like that I think that time passed me by already. So But I'm happy. I'm happy for fans. You know, like they. I hope this means something new for Castlevania for sure.
Yeah, the producers basically come out and said like we are in a gauging interest phase for Castlevania right now. So
Yeah, yeah,
they have the anime, which was a
yeah,
huge hit. And then they released the Castlevania collection. So we'll see what happens from there. But
yeah.
that
And this is definitely a way for them to like test the waters, you know, and just see how if people still are into the IP. So yeah, hopefully, you know, good for them.
yeah, it's just I love that we live in a world where a collection of once Game Boy Advance exclusives are now playable on my Series X. It's a
Yeah,
glorious time to be alive.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna get to a couple super chats, and then we're gonna transition into our next topic here. Faisal007 says, "Do you think the initiative are working on 2 games in development?" And I think Fable's new trailer will be revealed at the Game Awards. So, do you think Initiative is working on 2 projects right now?
Uh, my gut feeling is no.
Yeah, I would
Like
say I would
I
agree.
would I would definitely say no. Like it is hard enough to to one build a studio from scratch and two reboot a beloved IP like Perfect Dark, and now you clearly have. I mean, you have a whole nother studio coming in to collaborate on it. Like you don't do that. I don't know if you. I don't think you do that if you have 2 projects going on. Like they need their. It sounds like they're all hands on deck, in my opinion, on Perfect Dark. I would not. If I was a betting man, you know, a gun to my head, I was like, no, there's. I think they're working on 2 things.
I
But
think moving forward after this project ships, I could see that
yeah,
maybe being the approach, but I
yeah,
imagine they want to ensure that their first title under the Initiative banner hits.
yeah.
Hits in a big way.
Exactly, exactly. They've got enough on their plate. They got enough to worry about. I don't think there's like 1 or 2 people off. You know, that there might be like 1 or 2 people that was like
Thinking about what's next.
thinking about what's next. Like you always want to think about what's next, but like actual like pre-production or whatever, like no, I would doubt that.
Yeah,
Um,
same
yeah,
exact page there. A Big
yeah.
Fresh 37 says Gears of Breakfast, a hat in time for Banjo through
Oh,
global publishing. Hat in Time, beloved. People really, really dug that. Did you play it?
uh, I don't think I did. No, I did not.
I
Which
haven't
one?
played it either, but it's like this old school inspired modern 3D platformer where you play as basically like this witch or magician.
Okay.
Um,
The,
but
the, the name sounds familiar. I just I've never yeah I've never played that.
yeah, it's one of those kind of platformers that's in the conversations of this 3D platformer renaissance that we're in because people really liked it. Like I need to play it, but that would be a potential, opportunity for Banjo. There are teams out there who could crush a
Yeah,
3D platformer if
yeah.
Microsoft finds the right fit.
And there's also, I mean, like there's a lot of 3D platformer examples out there now. You know, like the um things that you can pick up off of. You know, like I mean, the Super Mario Odyssey. You've got ukulele and like all kinds of stuff that you can just grab ideas from and kind of tweak them and stuff like that, and could work really well for a modern banjo. So I hope they do because I love the N64 game. So
Yeah, I think with franchises like Banjo and franchises like Killer Instinct, Xbox has every intention of making one.
yeah,
But
eventually,
they are just trying to find that Cinderella studio.
yeah.
The studio that's foot just perfectly fits the franchise. They're in no rush to make one just for the sake of making one.
Yeah, and I'm feeling it'll probably be a while, but you know, one day.
One day. One day.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. Final main topic of today's show is going to be our most anticipated games because the future for no matter what platform you're on right now is looking ridiculously full.
yeah,
PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo are showing you that they are all in on gaming and they have a ton of games on the horizon. So,
yeah.
first question to you, Nate. What right
Yes.
now is your most anticipated? Hands down.
Ooh, ooh, I love these. These are so fun. I don't even have to think about it. Mass Effect, the new Mass Effect. I know that Andromeda it could have been better. 100%. I understand that. Uh, but it's like Mass Effect is literally my favorite series of games ever. It just huge Mass Effect nerd. First game. favorite game of all time. Like I said before, I adore the trilogy. I adore the characters. I adore the world, the different races, just everything about it. I just get lost in it. Uh, I played the trilogy probably like 18 or 19 times or 20
Oh
times.
my.
Yeah, yeah, full playthroughs. Like, so to see that a brand new game is finally coming, and Liara's back. Uh, I don't know if you're a Mass Effect player yourself, but
I'm
uh,
infamously not.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so seeing like Liara coming back, like that was a holy shit moment, like for Mass Effect fans. Like seeing her come back, she's a little older and stuff. That trailer just gave me full on goosebumps. Uh, so from what they shared, they're on Twitter and stuff afterwards, like they're putting together a veteran team to hopefully make it a home run and stuff. And I know it's years away, but take your time, Bioware. No rush. So that's probably my number one. Even though
Ye
we've only seen a little teaser, I don't have to see any more. I
just
want it.
just the idea gets you
Just the idea
going.
of it. I want it.
Yeah. For me, it's Elden
Dude,
Ring, hands down, as we talked about
I
early on in
thought
the
so.
show.
I figured. I was like, before you said no, it's gonna be Elden Ring.
No surprise, people are like, giving me
Yeah,
grief that it's not Halo. Halo is my most anticipated game coming out this year, but Elden Ring it's on another level. I am way more
yeah,
excited about Elden Ring than I am for Halo,
yeah.
and I love Halo. So
It
that
does. So does it being like what it's because it's obvious. I mean, it's in the vein of Souls and stuff, but it's like it's different. It's open world ish, I guess, and
this is
there's
big Dark Souls. This is
yeah,
big
you
dark.
got mounts. I mean, you got a horse now, and you got like, I mean, you can traverse cliffs and stuff like that. I mean, like, is that what excites you a lot, or is it just that
Because
kind
one thing that, I loved about Sekiro, it was this evolution of From Software's entire development approach. So they
yeah,
introduced mounts, like not for you, you didn't get to
yeah,
ride mounts, but they introduced enemies on mounts, and they
yeah,
introduced like this innovation to traversal and weapon arts and all these mechanics that added to the combat, added to the experience. And when I
yeah,
watch these trailers for Elden Ring, I'm seeing these incredible elements of Sekiro
yeah,
reintroduced and blended into what I know as the Dark Souls formula. And for me, a combination of Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro is probably the most perfect marriage of any two games ever. And that's what Elden Ring looks like. And
yeah. I mean, even I'm
oof,
psyched for it. I'm psyched for it, and like I like again, like I suck at Souls. I Bloodborne's the only one I've ever finished. So, but I have Demon Souls on the PS5, and I love that too. But I haven't finished that. But uh, like I'm psyched for it too because I'm always willing to give every new Miyazaki game a chance. Like I'm open to always like trying them out, and this being kind of like it's more open world-ish and it's like kind of more story driven and um you know the combat looks like way more. It's opened up a lot more. Like
yeah.
I'm down. I'm down to at least I want to see. I definitely want to see more of it. So
I know some vocal people want it to be like brutal and really tough, but
yeah,
I honestly hope it's, at least has some options to be more
yeah,
welcoming to new players because with
yeah,
this being a new franchise, I want more people to play it because I think Dark
yeah,
Souls gets a bad rep because of certain members of the community and because of memes that basically say this game is hard for the sake of being hard and that's why I like it. And that's
yeah,
not what makes Dark Souls a good game. Like Dark Souls being
yeah,
hard is not why I love it. Dark
yeah.
Souls has
No,
some of the
there's a
best
lot more
world
to it.
design and like
Yeah,
mythos, and
absolutely,
that's why I love it. But it just gets memed
absolutely,
because of the difficulty. The Dark Souls of
absolutely.
Dark Souls.
Yeah, for sure.
What else you got on your list for most
Let's.
anticipated right now?
Oh, yeah, I got a few. Absolutely. No, near my top, Starfield.
Ooh,
Uh, yeah, this is a big one for me too because I've always been really big into RPGs since I mean as long as I can remember. Well, maybe not like so Morrowind on the original Xbox, like that was my first experience with Bethesda, and I fell in love. Like
mm-hmm.
I just fell in love with the world, the lore, the characters. Like as you can tell, like I'm a big like lore guy. I love like getting lost in worlds. So And I've played all of Bethesda stuff since then. Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout. And it's just like to have a brand new IP from that studio. One of my favorite studios, and it's science fiction. My absolute favorite genre. In outer space, like, yeah, that's an automatic like jump ahead 5 spaces on the Shinobi X. Like it just shot right up like instant. Um, so I mean, we don't know a lot about it yet. They had that teaser and stuff, and we learned to like kind of like the size of the world a little bit. Well, we didn't like the size, but like their vision and stuff. And there's going to be alien races, and there's they're looking at hundreds of hours of gameplay and stuff like that. But we don't know much. But it's the potential that excites me. Like, and they're taking their sweet time with it. They really are. So the potential of an Elder Scrolls esque, video game with that kind of detail and in outer space, like I really think it'll be something special. And again, like they only have to focus on one SKU, basically one SKU, PC and Xbox. So like they got a new engine. Not, I mean, it's not brand new, but it's like it's very heavily iterated on. Hopefully they're gonna polish it up like crazy. And I think that's gonna be huge, like massive. So I am stoked. I can't wait. I really can't wait to see what it looks like.
I trust Bethesda when it comes to creating worlds, like
Yeah,
Elder Scrolls. I remember, Fallout 3 technically isn't credited, or Fallout isn't technically credited to Bethesda per se,
yeah,
but playing Fallout 3 for the first time and like
yeah,
seeing this reimagining of that world,
yeah.
ooh, oh man, that was such an important
They're,
moment
they're
for me.
just they're just so good at making worlds that are just stuffed with detail. Like it's just, I mean, Skyrim. You can buy a house and get married and like put books on your shelves and read these books and like it's just there's like it's like when you look at these stuff, you can pick up like forks and spoons and like toss buckets on people's heads and stuff. And it's like, who thinks like what designer would like take the time to put all this stuff in there? It's like it's crazy. So I it's like it's a monumental undertaking, and they have something like this is an outer space game. Like what's it gonna be like? Like, is it like I know you have your own ship, but it's like, is it gonna be like a galaxy map and like you pick a planet and you can land anywhere on that planet, or is it like a set town, or is it like, I know in the concept art, like we see that there's cities and stuff like that, but it's like, man, like it's just exciting. Like I really can't wait to see like what it looks like. And I think it's gonna look stunning too, because that teaser looked damn good.
Yeah, just
That was in game, and I was
the
like, "Whew,
in-engine shots of like the
yeah,
detail and the lighting,
whew,
and I'm
whew,
stoked. I'm ready. Like
yeah,
I'll admit, like the main reason I'm not that big into Mass Effect is I'm not usually the biggest fan of sci-fi RPG settings, but
yeah."
Starfield,
Oh, that
like
that hurts, man. That's a dagger right here.
I
That's
know it's I get it. I get why people
why
love
it's
it.
so fun. It's so fun because you can just make up anything. It's like it's not like historical settings or something. You can just make up whatever your mind desires, and it's just like to make crazy looking aliens or whatever. Like, that's why I love it. So
I'm the nerd who likes the high fantasy, the elves and the orcs and stuff like that.
yeah,
So,
I got you. I got you. I love fantasy too.
but yeah,
What's next for
Starfield.
you?
What's next for me? Halo.
Yeah,
As I talked about briefly, Halo Infinite. I've obviously had my concerns and criticisms of
yeah,
Halo, primarily being the co-op at launch. Co-op, again, huge
yeah,
important part of why I love Halo. So for
yeah.
me, the fact that that's not there at launch does hurt the
Sting.
hype
Yeah,
significantly. Like, I'm
yeah,
not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie to anyone. I'm still
yeah,
hyped. I'm still like, especially after playing it, I'm still going to be there day one to enjoy and experience it. But
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah,
that
yeah. I'm the same, man. Like I co-op campaign co-op in Halo has always been like integral to the experience for me, like to the Halo experience. Like it's there. You can't. It's hard to replicate that kind of fun, that kind of
mhm.
camaraderie, and like playing together and just that you can playing by yourself. I always will play by myself first because I want to take my time and I want to absorb everything, and I don't want to rush cutscenes and stuff like that. And we got people chatting in your ear and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I want to know
Yeah.
what's going on the very first time. But yeah, like co-op to me is like it's integral. So yeah, it stings a lot to me also, but you know, if that's what they need to get out the door, it's you got to bite that bullet. So
Exactly. I've come to terms with it. The thing
yeah,
that depresses me the most when I really think about it is I'm going to be playing this campaign. There's going to be a moment where we get the epic warthog sequence, and I'm going to
yeah,
have no co-pilot. I'm going to be in this
yeah.
thing with AI, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt my soul a little bit.
I know. I definitely understand. Yeah, yeah. Those ending sequences, it's like, man, once you have a buddy with you, it's like it's amplifies it like nothing, man. Like,
Oh, so yeah, I'm still excited for that.
yeah.
Real quick, what just a list. What other ones are on your radar right now?
So I'll probably like a couple more. I know again, like this is an Xbox show, but God of War Ragnarok.
Looks dope. Looks
What can
looks
I
real
what can I
good.
say really, man? Like the 2018 game to me is just a masterpiece. Like all the way through. It's one of the best games I've ever played personally. I think Corey Barlog is and the team at Santa Monica are geniuses. The way they reinvigorated that franchise and brought it back was just incredible, and it worked. And I can't wait to see where they go with it. That trailer looks amazing. Probably another one. Probably Dragon Age, the new Dragon Age.
Oh yeah, Bioware's
Yeah,
they're busy
yeah,
right now. That's
yeah, they're
right.
busy, man. They got stuff going on. Dragon Age is definitely going to come before Mass Effect, but I'm a huge Dragon Age fan because, like, to me, like, I love Bioware's like design. Like, again, like, I played Anthem. I wasn't like huge into Anthem. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than others. Like, I thought the story was fine. Some
Hmm.
of the characters were cool. The combat was amazing. I thought the combat in Anthem was awesome. It was just really starved for content and stuff like that. So it's a shame, but overall, like Bioware's like RPGs, like I love the way they design their RPGs. Like you always have like a hub or a ship or something like that, and you got your squad mates with you, and you can just chat them up, and you can just take on side quests with them and stuff like that. Like I love that kind of stuff. I love the Dragon Age series. I love the characters, and there's just so much lore and interesting dialogue and stuff. And Inquisition was I don't know if you played Dragon Age Inquisition, but
Yeah, I did.
okay. Did you play the DLCs, the expansions?
I know I didn't play the
Oh
expansions on
man.
that.
Oh, do you see like the Trespass? You have to play the Trespass DLC because
Okay.
you have to because it capped it off in such a huge way. It was like an awesome cliffhanger. Like because well, I don't want to spoil it. I don't know if you know like who the antagonist is now.
I've read some theories. Like I
Well,
because when people
you
saw
don't
that
have to read
trailer, there
theories.
was
You don't have to read theories. It's there. Like you can. He's clear as day. If you watch the trailer, I mean, if you watch
oh
the
yeah, yeah,
yeah, you can see who the antagonist is. I mean,
yeah.
like he's there. Solus, he's right there. Like, so the Trespass DLC it was such an awesome cliffhanger. And again, like I love Dragon Age. Cannot wait to see what they do with that. Hopefully, it comes out soon because I'm dying for that.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see when Mass Effect and Dragon Age. Do we assume Mass Effect's coming first, right? Or is
Oh
Dragon
no
Age
no
coming
no oh
first?
no 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 Dragon Age is definitely first because Mass Effect they just announced that at the Game Awards last year.
Hmm.
And they had just announced like they've been putting the team together and stuff like that, and like the veterans that they brought on board and stuff. So I would not I would not imagine that anywhere anytime soon. At least
Okay.
several years for sure.
Okay,
But
cool.
Dragon Age they've been working on that for at least several a few years, and they teased it. They first teased it in 2018, the 2018 Game Awards.
That's
So this
right. Yeah, it was
yeah.
teased a long time. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So, and I think when you look at EA's like what am I talking about? Their fiscal year and stuff. They had it to where they had Dragon Age set in the fiscal year 23. So that would be from April next year. So April 2022 to March 2023 is like that window. So who knows? We could see that new Dragon Age in within 12 months, 18 months, a year and a half. So yeah, I'm stoked. What about
Yeah.
you?
Last
Couple more.
two,
Yeah.
one of mine is very niche, and it's something that I unabashedly am genuinely stoked for, and no one else. I shouldn't say no one else. N- Not many people are with me here, but Evil
Let's see.
Dead the game. Evil Dead the
Okay.
game looks
Okay.
absolutely stunning for what it is. For a licensed horror multiplayer game based on some old ass horror IP,
Yeah.
that team looks to be killing it. And
Yeah. Who's making it? Who's
Boss Team. So they don't have a huge track record. Like this is like a lesser known, newer developed studio, but
Yeah.
we're in this kind of renaissance where these licensed games are finding really good teams. The new Aliens game, that game was damn good. Like that team killed the vibe, the feeling of Alien, and it looks like this team on Evil Dead. If you're a fan of Evil Dead, which if you're under the age of 30, probably not.
I can't say that I am. I've watched like bits and pieces of the movie, you know, like a long time ago, and like so, yeah. But dude, more power to you, man. Like that's awesome. Like I hope it kicks ass and you love it. You know.
I hope so too. And then the new Kirby.
Really,
Kirby the Forgotten Land. I've been complaining for years and years. Nintendo doesn't give Kirby the love, doesn't give Kirby the respect. Nintendo doesn't give Kirby the budget it deserves. And watching that new trailer, I got Mario Odyssey goosebumps. I'm like, oh dang, are they actually gonna make a Mario Odyssey equivalent for Kirby? Are they gonna do it?
It looks good.
It looks good. It looks real good.
It looks higher budget at least than you know past games.
The last few have been fine, like really, really fine. Like treading water in a huge way, like putting out a Kirby game for the sake of putting out a Kirby game.
Yeah.
To sell merch is what I feel like these games are.
Yeah. Dude, man, that's more power to you, man. Like there's so much coming from Nintendo too. Like their next year looks stacked. So yeah, just great stuff from everyone. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we had a good eclectic mix. But Nate, we are coming to the end of the show here, and I appreciate you so much for taking some time to hang out, talk about why we love games, talk about all the cool stuff happening in gaming right now. So one more time for all the awesome people hanging out with us. Where can they get a hold of you? Unless you don't want them to.
No, absolutely. Well, first off, you know, I appreciate it too, man. Like it was, I don't get a lot of people. I don't have the chance to talk to a lot of people like in real life, face to face about games because you know, being a homeowner and like living, you know, being a family man, like I don't engage with like a lot of like gamers. You know?
Yeah.
So this was great. This was a lot of fun for me. And thank you again. It was an honor to be on here. And yeah, for everyone, if you guys want to find, you know, just hit me up and talk games. You can find me on Twitter at Shinobi602. I'm always happy to just, you know, when people hit me up and just talk about anything, talk about the food I post or the screenshots I post. Yeah, I do that a lot. Or you know, my you know opinions that I have about things. And if you guys want to just hit me up, I'm always happy and willing to talk to friendly faces. So Shinobi602, I'm on there.
Now you got a big following in the barbecue community out there on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah. I've been. Some people hate me for that. You know, it's like yeah, I get so many messages like, dude, it's 4 a.m. over here. Why the hell are you posting this stuff? Sorry ahead of time, but yeah. So
I'm gonna get to we got one last minute super chat here. Well, let's hit that. Don Otaku says Breath of the Wild sequel is my most anticipated 2022, followed by Starfield and then Bayonetta 3. See, Don gets it. Don's on an Xbox show talking about the Nintendo bangers on the horizon.
And Breath of the Wild, you know, that sequel is going to be massive. I can't even imagine how big that's going to be. So I'm there too. I'm not even a big Zelda fan, but I enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I played it all the way through and I liked it. So yeah, I'm there too.
Let's go. So Nate, again, thank you. Some quick housekeeping. Next week, I will be joined by Destin Legary of IGN. And that's about it for me. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. And we will catch you next week. Have an awesome weekend.
Ciao.